I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Steel Canyon. Today is Monday, September 11th. I'm Nico Slater.
And I'm Dan Batson. Today marks the 16th anniversary of the attacks in New York, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania on 9/11. As some of our humanities teachers explain, it is a date that had a huge impact on American history.
I was at home. The alarm clock was the news on the radio, and it woke me up, and they said a plane crashed into the World Trade Center, and they didn't know it was an attack. They were talking about how in the 70s a small plane crashed in the Empire State Building. And I thought, a plane ran into the World Trade Center, and then I got ready for school and came here without listening to the news on the radio. And when I got here, everyone was saying, "Did you hear what happened?" I said, "No." And then I found out all the rest of the story, and we were listening to the radio with my students. I think it helped sort of bring terrorism to our shores. Before 9/11, Americans weren't really as in tune with the sort of global issues of terrorism. And I also think it sort of exposed the lack of knowledge that a lot of Americans have about world religions. And it forced us to pay attention probably to world affairs more than we did before.
I believe this is a whole new era in warfare and who the enemy is, because we're now fighting ideas instead of countries. And so we have a totally different idea of how to wage war that's different than what we are before, and sort of seems to be the paradigm moving forward.
Steel Canyon students are taking action to help the victims of Hurricane Harvey in Texas and Louisiana. Our ASB is teaming up with the Feed the Children Club and Alexi Grabia to collect canned food. Alexi and her family have contracted for a big rig to come to Steel Canyon in 2 weeks to collect all of our canned food donations, to drive them to Texas. If you want to help the victims affected by this disaster, bring canned food to your first block teacher.
We are proud to say Steel Canyon is different than other high schools. We hold staff and students to very high standards. Today, we begin a series of stories on the Cougar Way. Mr. Tubbs explains our list of student expectations called ESLERS.
ESLERS stands for Expected School-Wide Learning Results, and basically they are a set or group of criteria or principles that we expect every student to be able to exhibit here at Steel Canyon High School. So our goal is to graduate all of our students college and career ready, and part of that is that they're an effective communicator, an adept learner, a complex thinker and problem solver, technologically proficient, and a contributing member of their community. So basically these things guide us as a school as to what our students will be able to do after 4 years at Steel Canyon High School. And another reason they're important is that when the WASC visiting committee comes here in March to accredit the school, they're going to look to see that we're doing these things. They're going to look at our mission, they're going to look at our vision, they're going to look at our ESLERS and say, Steel Canyon says they're doing all these things and they're preparing their students this way. Are they really doing it? So they're going to look for evidence that we're doing these things. And so they're going to talk to students, they're going to talk to parents, they're going to talk to teachers and staff, and they're going to want to see evidence that we're doing these great things, which we are. And so we'll be collecting evidence and providing that to the visiting committee in March. So what we're going to be doing here over the next few weeks is every week on SCTV, we're going to be featuring a different ESLER so that all the students are educated as to what those are and are prepared to discuss those in class and with any visiting committee members if they ask about them.
The current Teacher of the Year on campus is Mrs. Geck. It's a very prestigious award, and reporter Jesus Vasquez and photographer Chloe Ash went to learn more about her teaching style.
The staff vote for Miss Geck to be the Teacher of the Year. She was surprised by the results.
I was really shocked, and I was really humbled. I was really amazed. Mr. Battle came in and he said, "Could I talk to you?" And I immediately thought, what's wrong? Why is he coming in here? And I said, "Sure, you can talk to me." And he said, "Can I borrow you for a minute?" I kept asking him, where were we going, what were we doing, and he said, just come with me. So I was really a little bit anxious. And so he took me in the side door of the theater, and when he opened the door, Mr. Hoheimer was standing at the front of the stage, and I looked up on the screen and it said Morgan Geck Teacher of the Year. I was shocked and overwhelmed, and to have an award given to me by my peers was pretty awesome.
Ms. Geck has been working since 1993 on the teaching business.
I really always knew I wanted to be a teacher. I love English. I also wanted to be a mom, and so I knew that I could work part-time. I could be home when my kids were home. I could be off in the summers, and I just love this age of students. It's just so much fun. So I always knew that high school teacher is what I wanted to be.
Miss Geck is honestly like one of my most favorite teachers. I love her so much, and she's so amazing. She's super fun.
Miss Geck, she's definitely one of the best teachers at this school. I'd easily say that. And I don't even really like English that much, and she makes it very exciting for me to like be in that class.
Mrs. Geck, we love her.
Totally.
I love her. She's just like, I don't know, fourth block as a senior, kind of like, sometimes it can suck because you're like your whole day and like, oh, I can't go home. But coming to Miss Geck, she's always in a really good mood. So it puts me in a good mood, and I love English, and her class is really interesting.
And she's like my mom. Like if I think about it, like I come into fourth block, and like if I have a really bad day, like I can just talk to her. Like, yeah, I do like the class, but I'm in there because I love my teacher, because she's like my mom.
She gives me food.
Yeah.
Miss Geck, she's really great teacher. She's really genuine. I feel like she cares about all of us individually. I just met her not that long ago. I just started this class, but I love her class. She's really sweet.
Yeah, she's definitely a super good teacher. She really wants us to succeed, and I think that's important in a teacher. Like some teachers are like, hopefully you do well, but Miss Geck, she really does care.
Love you, Miss Geck!
For SCTV News, I'm Jesus Vasquez.
Last Friday, our football team traveled across town to Granite Hills, but came up short in the game. Coach Longerbone has a recap for us.
We at one point were down 28-7, so I was very impressed with the fact that the kids fought back, they didn't give up, there was no quit in them. And just it's been interesting. The last two games we've had at Granite Hills have ended on the last play of the game. It's just unfortunate we've been on the losing end of those last second plays. Life is full of failures. Like, you're gonna fail all the time in your life, so you have to be able to deal with it as a human, not just on the football field, but in the classroom. Kids are gonna fail. You're gonna bomb a test. You're gonna lose a job. There's all kinds of circumstances throughout life. So really, we just focus on it being a life lesson and saying, look, man, these are things that you have to overcome. And I think this is definitely a team that's gonna get better. We're young up front. Our offensive line is, they're still learning each other, kind of, and figuring things out. We have a bye this week, so we'll use it to heal up. A lot of ice baths, a lot of time with Sarah, the trainer, and then we go down to Otay in 2 weeks. So that'll be another exciting game.
That's all the news we have for you today. Have a great day. Rah rah Cougars.
Cougar Pride.
Get some.